Well, hey everybody, I'm John Campea. Thank you for visiting my movie vlog. You know, a little while ago, we found out that Walt Disney was going to be creating their own streaming entertainment service, and they would be pulling some of their content off of Netflix in 2019. However, there was no specific mention about the Marvel movies or the Star Wars movies at the time. It was insinuated that Disney would be making up their minds at some later date. Well, today, according to a report in Variety, the speculation is now over. In a business meeting earlier with CEO of Disney, Bob Iger announced to their business partners that yes, Disney has decided that they will be pulling all of their Marvel and Star Wars movies off of the giant streaming service Netflix when their new service, the Disney streaming service, is ready to launch in 2019, specifically late 2019. Now, on top of confirming that, they also said in the report that Disney plans on making 4 to 5 original movies per year for the streaming service and 4 to 5 television series for the streaming service. It looks like at this point that they really did like the Netflix model, but they thought, you know what, we don't need Netflix to do this. We can do it on our own, and we think we can do it just as well with their own original content. And this is a bold move. Now, this goes to something I've been thinking about for a while. I think Star Wars is going to have its own Game of Thrones type of show. Now, I've been kind of against the idea of a Star Wars television show. However, if Disney is going to have their own streaming service that they are completely in control of, and they are planning on doing original series, I've got to believe at this point that I should change my mind and that, yep, it looks like they are planning on doing a Star Wars live-action TV series. Now, again, I'm speculating that. That's not coming out of any report. That didn't come from Bob Iger. It just seems to me that the stars are aligning that a live-action Star Wars series seems to be in the cards if they're going to pull all the Star Wars movies off Netflix and they want to create their own original movies and original series for their channel. Star Wars doesn't seem to be far behind. Now, how big of a blow this will ultimately be to the streaming service Netflix is yet to be seen. I honestly don't think it's going to have that big of a blow. What would become a fairly big blow to Netflix is, of course, if all the other studios started following suit. If Paramount decided, you know what, we're going to pull all of our movies off and we're going to have our own original streaming content as well. If Universal decided to do the same thing, if Lionsgate decided to do the same thing, if Sony decided to do the same thing, if Warner Brothers decided to do the same thing, if all of that happened within a period of 3 to 4 years, that could deal a blow to Netflix. But as I mentioned in another video, I think Netflix saw this day coming and they started preparing themselves. And that's why Netflix isn't just a depository for other people's content anymore. Now Netflix is extremely active in creating their own live original content. And I think that is what's going to keep Netflix floating. But how it will ultimately affect them, we're just going to have to wait and see. But as always, the big question here is, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good move by Disney to pull their content over to their own streaming service? How do you think this is going to affect Netflix? And the big question here is, if you only had like $12 to spend a month and you had to choose to either take the Disney streaming channel with all their Marvel, Star Wars, and other Disney content, or you could get Netflix, which one would you be going for? I'm curious to see what you'd have to say. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Listen, while you're here, take a second, click on that subscribe button, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel, and make sure you follow me on social media, on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at John Campea. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thanks so much for joining me, and until the next video, bye-bye.